While you're watching them exit, at the same time, expand your awareness and embrace the beings who are in the room with you today. And just feel the impulse of the Spirit of God moving through all of us, and feel a great sense of joy that all of us get to celebrate together here, in a sense of peace and love and joy and harmony. And in that consciousness, look at the person sitting right next to you. Left or right, doesn't matter, they're both beautiful. Just don't look at the back of somebody's head, look at their face. And look at that person and say, good rising. There's so much good in you. You are a golden being. There's so much love in you. You are a luminous being. There is so much power in you. You are a God being. And you have come to set these qualities free to make a mighty difference on this planet and to help change the world for the better. Let's be about this together in the here and now. And so it is. Give up some love, handshake, high five, hug. But feel the impulse of the Spirit of the living God moving through you. As you're coming into the consciousness of that which is within you that never dies, it never has a rebirth, never has a death, and continues to rebirth itself over and over and over again. It's the resurrecting Spirit of the Christ that is within you, and it is your very life into being. This month we've been working with the theme of mental liberation, coming into a great understanding that our freedom is intrinsic to our nature, that each of us are free beings, free to express the glorious nature of God, free to activate the infinite potential that lies within us, and that potential is infinite. And though we place ceilings on it at times with our limited perception of who we are and where we have come from and the mislabeling of past experiences in our life, the potential that is within us is infinite. Say that. Just embrace that for a moment. Say, my potential is infinite. My potential is bigger than any problem I'm facing. The problem is facing infinite potential. And so as we are coming into a state of mental liberation, we have become aware that human suffering is primarily due to our inability to see what I just said, to see ultimate reality. There's a limited perception that produces experience, and then that experience we deem is coming at us from God, but the presence of God is like the sun, always shining, always being itself, always giving and expressing itself, and the clouds are like our limited perception, hindering that sunlight from falling upon us, but the sun is still shining, God is still God, life is still life, life is still lifing, and we are removing the clouds from our awareness through spiritual practice, that we may live in the perpetual state of growing, developing, and unfolding to a greater yet to be. That is a little bit of mental liberation, of which Jesus the Christ, the most liberated individual that we know about on the planet, according to David Hawkins' kinesiological studies, Jesus vibrated at the level of 1,000, which is called a Lord or a Savior, which means that he was totally at one with the presence of God. And the difference between him and the other avatars that walked the planet, according to David Hawkins, is that he came to full enlightenment in one lifetime, where some of the other individuals took many lifetimes to break free from the limited perception. Jesus did it in one lifetime and allowed for his glory to shine for the last a couple of thousands of years, saying in substance that what he knew about the presence of God, what was within him and what he knew is within you as well. He did not come on an ego trip talking about himself. He came on a trip to let you know about you, that the giftedness of the Spirit within you, the life within you, the love within you, the beauty within you, the intelligence that seeks to flow through you is infinite, and that greater things than what he accomplished you can do, and that we must do at this time in human history and beyond. So we are celebrating the resurrected spirit of the Christ presence that is within all of us, and understanding that there is a joyous pathway to rebirth. We understand that Easter is a metaphorical template of nature that has been placed upon the teachings of Jesus, symbolizing the winter becoming spring, symbolizing that which was buried under the death of an old, or buried under snow, but not here in California necessarily, rises again in the springtime. And so that metaphorical template of nature was placed upon the teachings of Jesus. All mature people know that Jesus wasn't born, or did not rise up on Easter, wasn't born on Christmas. Those are metaphorical ways by which we embrace Mother Nature, and has been placed upon the teachings of Jesus. But nevertheless, the teachings of Jesus, and more importantly, the practice of these teachings, allow us to liberate ourselves from the tomb of worry and doubt and fear, limitation, and not enoughness, to live a life that is worthy of our incarnation. You have an incarnation, and you want to live this incarnation out, so that as you exit the incarnation, you have given your gift, shared and shined the glow of luminosity that is within you, that you've anchored on earth the eternal presence of God as only you can do it, according to your unique vibrational signature of an enlightened being that has woken up to their true destiny. Do you know that's who you are? Do you know that's what you are? Sometimes you get caught up in the who and you forget the what. Sometimes you think you are simply the daughter or son of your parents. You get into the who of the limited perception. And sometimes you forget that the what is the great presence of God that recreated itself as your who, as your individualized expression of God. So when you remember your what, you will set yourself free. When we take some of the dynamic teachings of Yeshua ben Joseph, otherwise known as Jesus the Christ, we will see a wonderful pathway to our continual and perpetual rebirth, our continual and perpetual resurrection, our continual perpetual movement out of the shadows of reality into the great substance of ultimate good. We move through the beginning of his particular ministry after he was baptized by John the Baptist, and we see him meditating and fasting 40 days in the desert, retooling his spirit, doing his inner work. And you see during this particular period of time, he became tested by the egoic structure of his own being, otherwise known as the satanic energy, the downward pull, the spiraling energy downward. The egoic centric presence came to him and said, yo. That's where that word began, by the way. It was on the desert there, and the ego said, yo, homie, listen. You've been fasting for 40 days, 40 nights. I know you're hungry. Why don't you turn that stone to bread? Ain't nobody looking. You can go ahead and break your fast, man. Listen, go ahead and get down. And ultimately, Yeshua ben Joseph said, get thee behind me, ego. Get thee behind me, Satan. Man is not meant to live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. Direct from the presence and the power and the energy of the presence. I can live from the presence of God. In that moment, he basically transcended the egoic structure of manipulating circumstances for his own happiness, his own self-aggrandizement. He overcame that particular egoic structure. But the ego wasn't finished yet. Came back and said, yo, check it. Jesus, listen, man, it's not even a J in the language, but there will be one day in the future. But I'll just call you Yeshua. Said, listen, why don't you go ahead and throw your body down and prove that at least thou dash thy foot against the stone, your angels will protect you. The ego started quoting scripture to him, you know, and he said, no, don't you test God in substance. And when he overcame that particular egoic structure, he was overcoming the inner egoic thing of being admired by individuals, by self-aggrandizement and being a show-off in substance. And he overcame that, and he went deep into his prayer, into his meditation. And the ego came back again and said, yo, Joshua. Threw a little J on there again. Jesus Christ. Jesus said, well, hold on, not yet. I'm getting there. Listen, he took him to the top of the mountain where he could see all the kingdoms of the world. And said, if you bow to me, all of this will belong to you. If you'll submit. And Jesus said, in substance, get thee behind me. Simply, I'm here for the presence and the power and the love of God. He overcame materialism. He overcame things making one happy. So his egoic, he transcended the ego desire for manipulation and personal power. He transcended the egoic desire to be famous. He transcended the egoic desire for external things to make him happy. All of us are on a spiritual path. And all of us are inundated with what the world is clamoring for us, saying, if you'll have this, you'll be happy. If you do this, you'll be happy. If you get enough likes, you'll be happy. And particularly in this day and age, you see, and all of this, and each of us are to go deep within our own soul and overcome those particular tendencies. And those particular tendencies don't mean you're not going to be healthy, don't mean you're not going to be prosperous, don't mean you're not going to be happy. Doesn't mean you're not going to have your needs met. It simply means that those external things are not the things that are going to bring you happiness, that your happiness is intrinsic. It's a dimension of your spiritual being. And with mental liberation, you do not get those things to become happy. You become happy, and that which flows into your life based on the vibration of your happiness and your whatness shows up in your life as grace notes along the way. He transcended that in his retooling his spirit on a regular basis, of which we have the 40-day, 40-night fasting as simply one time of that. But this was a way of life. And then we fast forward a little bit, and we hear Mary and Martha talking about the death of Lazarus and being upset about that. And Jesus is saying in substance, listen, I can handle this. And he says in front of the tomb, in substance, I don't need to say all of this out loud. I'm just doing it for the people so that they know what's going on here. Says in substance, I know that thou hearest me always, speaking about to the power and the presence and the love of God and the law of mind and action, embracing him. Lazarus, come out! Lazarus, come forward. Lazarus, rise. And ultimately, Lazarus comes forth. They take off his death clothes, and he moves on. The lesson here is that Jesus' vibrational imprint, his retooling of his spirit on such a regular basis, him saying, I know that thou hearest me always, is him saying that I have a vibrational signature of such conviction, such faith, that has been retooled over and over and over again. I really don't have to say this out loud. I'm saying this for the people that are watching. But inside I have such an at-one-ment with the Spirit of the living God that as I declare, as I decree, as I proclaim, it shall be done. Our lesson is to go so pure in our awareness, in our spiritual practices, that we create for ourselves a vibrational frequency of, I know the presence of God is responding to me moment by moment by moment, not simply by what I am saying, but what I am being. The vibrational signature of my life based on prayer allows for my declarations, decrees, and proclamations to manifest with an ease and a grace and a power, reminds me of a story of Dr. Ernest Holmes in which he was at a great convention. And it was sweltering. The air conditioner wasn't working and people were sweating. And no one could get it fixed. And Dr. Holmes went to the microphone and said, "God, this is me. Need I say more?" And instantly the air conditioner started working. In other words, he had developed such a profound connection with the presence of God, he did not need to speak long. He just said, "I know that thou hearest me always." He said, in substance, this is my vibrational frequency. You know what needs to happen here? And it happened. This does not come by accident. This does not come by wishful thinking. This does not come by memorization. This does not come by the intellect. This comes from a moment by moment by moment retooling of the Spirit. And so that the presence of God becomes more real to you than condition or circumstance. That the presence of God becomes more real to you than problem. The presence of God becomes more real to you than anything external to yourself, so that you're walking in your life not focused on the issues. You're walking in your life focused on the presence of God that handles the issues. Presence of God, this is Michael. Need I say more? I know that thou hearest me always. Get on up, rise and shine to the Spirit of the living God Almighty. Then we hear it. When he says in substance, when you see me, you see the presence of God that sent me. In other words, he had released himself from the limited perception of separation from God, saying in substance, I am in God, God is in me. When you see me, you see the presence of God that's sending me. There was no separation there at all. There was not God and Jesus. There was God as Jesus. There's no God and you. There is God through and as you do the inner work necessary to break down the superstitious thought that God is somewhere other than where you are. Then you're able to stand, rise and shine with a great readiness that there's more good trying to express through you than you've ever imagined. You see, you want to be in that dynamic. Now, those three particular dynamics allow for the Judas kiss that will take you into a condition sometimes of darkness. You'll be betrayed by life, or it appears to be betrayed. It'll appear in your life you'll be betrayed by something. Somebody may die too soon. The body temple may act a little weird on you. The financial condition may betray you. Somewhere along the line in the world of phenomena, there will be betrayals. But when you understand the context that you're here to grow, develop, and unfold, to reveal more and more and more life, and that your potential is greater than any problem, then the Judas kiss is actually a kiss of alchemy. It's a kiss of transformation. It is saying, they're saying, there's more to you than meets the eye. We got to kiss you along the way. We have to take you into the darkness so that that which no longer serves you can fall away. That which you have identified yourself with to make you happy, that which you've identified yourself with to prop you up, oh, we're going to kiss you. Judas is going to kiss you on the cheek, you see. And conditions are going to change. They're going to fall away. Structures are going to shift. And in that seeming loss, seeming separation, you will discover something within you that you will pay more attention to now, because your normal condition of what you've been leaning on is not there anymore. And then you'll have to turn back to the invisible, which is indivisible, undivided from the presence of God. And where you have had your faith on the visible, where you have had your faith on the manifest realm, now your faith will come back to the invisible, indivisible presence. And that Judas kiss that you'll be cursing in the moment, you'll be praising in the future. You'll be saying, oh my God, If that so-called negative thing hadn't happened, I would not be who I am today. I would have still had those same habits, those same thoughts, those same friends, those same priorities, but because I was kissed, because it seemed like there was a betrayal, I discovered God deep within my very soul. And now I'm leaning on the presence of God. The ego may come and say, hey, manipulate all this stuff. Turn the stone to bread. And you'll say, no, I don't need to do that. The ego may come and say in substance, hey, throw your body off the temple and see if the angels will protect you. Go ahead and test God. Become a show-off a little bit. And you'll be able to say, no. The ego may come and say, I'll grant you all of this stuff. This will make you happy. And you'll say, no, happiness is within me already. Joy is in my soul. Intelligence runs through you. I'm going to the invisible. I'm going to the indivisible, invisible presence, which is more real than any temporary circumstance. And then out of that, I will rise up out of the tomb of despair. I will rise up out of the tomb of doubt and fear. I'll roll away the boulder that seems to separate me from life and light. And from now on, I will live from the indivisible, invisible presence of God. And as the visible, as it becomes visible, as it manifests, as more good begins to flow into my life, I will not mistake the manifest for the infinite invisible, which is always trying to become more through us. Oh, I'm talking about you'll have your own individual Easter experience. Your own individual Easter experience. You will use Jesus as a template, as an exemplar, as an example. But you know that it's time for you to rise. You know that it's time for you to shine. You know that in the darkness of despair, when Judas has kissed you, you know in all of that, there's a light that's never been snuffed out. There's a brilliance and a luminosity that's just waiting for you to place your attention on it. Your attention may have been on the external, holding on for dear life. Something out there is going to take care of me. And then everything falls apart. And you go in, you say, oh my God, I've been taken care of before eternity, before time began. I've been held in the bosom of the eternal presence of God. I just didn't know it. I had faith in all the wrong stuff. But now, I'm rooted. I'm rooted in the awareness. Now I can move through the vicissitudes of life, the changes that will occur in the world of phenomena, by the way. I can move through the mighty changes in life and be at the center of my own being, the eye of the spiritual hurricane, and begin to say, this is Michael, need I say more? You see, I'm here. I'm here for God. I'm here for love. I'm here for beauty. I'm here for joy. My vibrational imprint is a cellular imprint. My soul, my subjective, my subconscious mind, my conscious mind, and my subconscious mind are in agreement. And when two or more are gathered in the name of the Christ, when the conscious mind and the subconscious mind agree, the superconscious mind shows up. Miracles can happen in one's life. And then you live from that dynamic. Look to a neighbor and say, I'm ready for my miracle. No, say to him, no, for real. For real. I'm open to a miracle in my life. I'm open to more good in my life. I'm open to more joy in my life. I'm open to more prosperity in my life. I'm open to more happiness and love in my life. For real. I know where it's coming from. God presence. Somebody scream about that. It's our Easter, baby. It's our good rising. It's our resurrection. It's our moment. And just like springtime follows winter, just as those seeds that were buried show up in the spring. And just as in nature, the dead leaves fall off and fall, and you move through the different seasons, and all of that has been placed upon the teachings of Jesus, we take it to the awareness that before there can be a rebirth, and that's our path to rebirth, we just talked about, there must be a death, and we must die daily. We must let go of things that don't concern us. We must let go of other people's business. We must let go of thoughts and perceptions and habits that no longer serve us. There has to be a rebirth. There has to be a death. We've got to let go of our pettiness. We've got to let go of our egregious nature. We've got to let go of greediness. We've got to let go of all of that moves through the human experience. We've got to die to it. And then out of that great death, the blaze of glory, beauty and the love of who we are shows up. Woo! Shows up in a big way. The path to rebirth. Let go and let God. The path to rebirth. See where the good is really coming from. The depth of your own being. Path to rebirth. Die daily. Do not wake up the next day the same person you are today. Let go of something, some thought, some perception, some conversation, some habit that blocks the flow of life. Oh, everybody, as we love to do here at Agape at this time, everybody who can, please stand. Rise on up. Stand up with me. Stand up with purpose. Get your back straight. Good posture. Let the universe know that you're worthy. Let the universe know that you are a king or a queen of the Most High. Let the universe know that you're available to a good that's beyond your wildest imagination. Put your hands up. Feel that somebody has a great gift for you, and it's not a gift to re-give, it's a gift you want. You want this gift. Oh, and just say, I'm grateful for the gifts of the Spirit. I'm grateful for more good than I can imagine. I'm grateful for more prosperity than I've ever experienced. I'm grateful for divine health, divine wealth, divine wellness, divine well-being, pure intelligence. Oh, I'm so grateful. I rise in God. I rise in joy. I rise in love. I rise in beauty. I'm rising. I'm rising. I'm rising. I'm rising. I've got the resurrecting spirit. Somebody scream about it. Woo. Woo. I think you're feeling it. I think you're feeling it. Now, right now, close your eyes for just a moment. And just for the next few seconds, I want you to dedicate this moment of celebration and inward awareness of the presence to someone other than yourself. Remember, you get to keep what you give away. That's the law. You only get to keep what you circulate. You only get to keep what you give away. So the feeling tone, any insight, any revelation, any good feeling of the presence of God, think of someone right now that you can dedicate this to vibrationally. Somebody that may have experienced a loss. Somebody may be growing through a sense of depression, a sense of lack or limitation. Just think about them and realize in this moment you are one with them. Not sympathetically, spiritually. And as you're rising up in this frequency, see them rising with you. As you're rising up in this resurrecting spirit of the Christ that is within you, see them rising too. Do not see them in lack or limitation or fear or doubt and worry. See them as light beings. Dedicate just this few seconds of silence to their rising. And in this consciousness, as you bring your hands down now and starting off holding the hands of the being next to you, in this consciousness, still standing for just a moment, we embrace the possibility that there's more good than we've ever imagined, that because our potential is infinite, there's good trying to express through us that we haven't even dared to imagine yet. The presence of God is saying in substance, your prayers have been anemic. Your vision has been too small. It's been circumscribed by what you have learned on planet Earth, society. But you have come to stretch society, not be bound by it. You have come to break out of the matrix, not to live in it. So there's a good within you directly from God that is to take you beyond your little self. You are to die to that little perception of yourself and resurrect yourself in a wide open expression of God Almighty love, all beauty, joy, all power. And so we stand with a greater readiness of thanksgiving and appreciation. And we begin to recognize that there's a power all around us. And we've only been available to a little of it. Not anymore. This is the Easter of our lives. And so we're resurrecting ourselves by saying, all power can flow through us. All love can flow through us. All joy can flow through us. All abundance can flow through us. And so in this dynamic recognition of the great power, the great presence, the great love, the word is spoken and beginning to be spoken right now for each of us, that we may be spiritually and mentally liberated. That we may step into a greater readiness and a great awareness of our oneness with God, that individuals will see us and they'll feel that when they see us, they see the presence of God that's sending us moment by moment by moment by moment. The presence of love that's sending us, the presence of joy that's sending us, the presence of compassion and generosity and creativity that's sending us moment by moment by moment. Oh, we step in that awareness, knowing that this presence is responding to us right now. The law of the presence is responding to us right now. I know that thou hearest me always. Whew. We feel it in our bones. Oh, I want you to accept right now a revelation of healing and wholeness in your life right now. Don't ask about the process of it. No, don't delay it. Now. Accept the wholeness now. Now. And come into the deep feeling of that. Feel into that. Feel into that. As you begin now to take your seats, sit down for a moment. Just feel into that. Just feel into that dynamic. The feeling reveals the healing. The healing is a revelation of that which is already there, temporarily covered up by perception. The feeling reveals the healing. Let this flow of music help with the feeling.
I rise in God. I rise in God. Oh, I rise in God. God is the way to me. Oh, that I am that I am to be is rising every day in God. I sing of God. I sing of God. Oh, I sing of God, singing its song through me. All that I am is God's melody. I'm singing every day in God. I yield to God. I yield to God. Yes, I do. I yield to God. For God is all I see. All that I am is God rising as me. I'm yielding every day to God. When I close my eyes, I fly in God. I float in God. Yes, I do. I grow in God. I rise in God. I rise in God. Oh yeah. I rise in God. God is the way to me. All that I am to be is rising every day in God. Rising every day in God. Rising every day in God. We gotta rise. Rising every day in God. Every day in God. Every day we are rising. Every day you got to know it now. Every day. Every day. Rising every day in God. Rising every day. Oh, I'm rising every day. Every day. Every day. Oh, rising every day in
You rising? Are you rising?